Hi, it's Tabby, and this week I am making a fuzzy Soot Sprite jar for my friend. I'm using another kombucha jar, and I start off with putting some bacon bond on it so that the ultralight Sculpey will adhere to it better. And I'm building this up to make it round, because Soot Sprites are basically a ball. If you're watching this, you probably know what a Soot Sprite is, but if not, a Soot Sprite is a little creature from the movie Spirited Away, and they are essentially animated soot balls that carry around coal for the bath fires. I tried to learn my lesson with the last canning jar lid, and so I separated these to start out so that I can build up the outside, and then I will take it off and insert the center of it so that the ultralight doesn't push down further than the threads, because if so, then it won't close all the way. So I'm just trying to build this up and smooth it out and make a functioning lid. After I finish sculpting, I bake it in the oven at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour, and then I move on and I roll out some Super Sculpey. I cut it into chunks, I roll it with an acrylic roller, and then I put it through my pasta maker. And after that, I cover the whole thing in bacon bond so that the Super Sculpey will adhere to the ultralight Sculpey. And then I cover it with all of these sheets. Sorry if there's a lot of wind in this video. I do my voiceovers outside, but wind is better than toddlers screaming, so beggars can't be choosers. After everything is covered in the sheet of Super Sculpey, I cut off the excess and I do a lot of smoothing, and I just generally want to make this a ball, a general ball shape. I don't have to make it too smooth since this is going to be fuzzy, but I try and at least make it quality, you know? Here I'm trying to reduce the size of the gap in between the lid and the body of the jar, and this is just to kind of add to the cohesiveness of the shape, and so I'm just building up this edge right here. Now that I've got the general shape down, it's time to make some eyeballs. He's just got some big old googly peepers. I just made some big old like $50 size ones, and I used some Bacon Bond, and I do a little bit of smoothing so that it'll be like a smooth transition. For limbs, I use wire. I Bacon Bond it in there after I have the general size and shapes of them down. I do have to do a little bit of adjustments later, and I do off camera take a hand drill and drill into the ultralight because I want these limbs on there securely and be able to move. So yeah, I actually drilled quite a ways into the body so that it'll sit securely. After it has limbs, I just evenly try and coat this piece of wire with some Bacon Bond, and I'm going to use cause clay for the limbs because it can bend after baking without breaking, so it can be usable and posable. Getting all Dr. Zeus over here. I really love cause clay, and what's cool about it is that it is made with foam so that after it's baked, it still moves. And I really love this for pieces that I either want to be reposable or just not to break because they're really thin like this. Exposed wire probably would have worked just fine for the arms and legs, but usually acrylic paints doesn't stick to the wire that well, so even just bulking it up with these little snakes of cause clay, it really helps a lot. After all of the limbs are attached securely, I bake it again at 275 degrees for an hour, and then I go back in, and I left some exposed wire at the tip of the hands so that I can attach the little star candies. I initially made these way too small, and so what is filmed right here is not the final result. They're just itty bitty tiny stars, and after I attached them, I realized that they were way too small, and I redid them off camera. I bake the bigger stars and I attach them, and I start painting with acrylic paints. I paint the whole thing black. Obviously I said I'm going to make this fuzzy, which I will, but I want to paint it black beforehand so that wherever there's some gaps, it's not as noticeable. I do go back and I paint the stars glow in the dark. The white star, I don't have a white glow in the dark, so I tried a blue, but it kept being streaky even after multiple coats, and I got tired of it being ugly, so I just went back and I painted it blue and put the glow in the dark over that. The way that I'm making this jar fuzzy is I'm taking yarn and I'm making yarn wefts. which basically I'm just like making hair. I brush out this yarn with a cat brush after I've attached it something to hold it still, and it just kind of straightens the fibers quite a bit. And then I take the time and initially I made wefts with some Mod Podge, but Mod Podge takes friggin' forever and a day to dry, and then I still gotta go back and glue it onto the jar. So I ended up actually starting to skip this step after this first round of wefts that I made, and I just glue it all directly onto the jar with Fabri-Tac, because Fabri-Tac dries way faster. It took me a few days to get this all glued down and all of the fuzzy stuff made. I glue from the bottom up. I glue on the front and then on the back. The fur, fuzz, whatever, is way longer than it needs to be, so I'll cut it. And here he is all done. He's so cute. I already gave the jar to my friend, so I can't show you specifically like the size comparison with my hands or anything like that. But if I was to change anything with it, it would be the seam is very obvious on the lid. That's one thing that I'm struggling with the fuzzy jars, is getting the seam is very noticeable. I like to try and make it noticeable. So that's one thing that I need to work on. But I was very happy with this jar and his little googly eyes.
Hello.
Hello. You can say hi?
Yes.
Say hi now.
Hi.
Yeah. Thank you for watching my sculpt today. I appreciate your support. If you want to support me further, subscribe, like, buy my art. All my money usually goes towards spoiling my kids, so thank you.